Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. This is iAllegedly, and I'd love coming to the beach first thing in the morning, start my day. But we got some serious stuff to talk about, and I have a good one for you today because we need to shut these guys down once and for all. They just need to be closed. I'm walking the pooch out here. And please, guys, as always, comment on the video, share your thoughts with everybody, start the conversation, and like, subscribe. Today we have a sponsor, Chuck Norris, which I love when he's on the channel. And let's get right into it. Boris Head is basically a high-end meat company, and they have had a real problem with a Listeria outbreak. And I was wrong about one thing. Listeria is something that you could eat something tainted today, and I thought, okay, well, within 72 hours, you're gonna have symptoms. No, it could be a month or two before you have symptoms. So one thing I wanna show you is great stories below about, everything that they were written up for, that, they had blood in the processing plants, they had bugs, they had mildew, mold. It was just disgusting. But this is the high-end meat company that cut corners on all of us. Now, here's what makes me want to talk about this, is that there is a food service attorney. Now, think about this. When you go out and you have anything that goes wrong, whether it's your car getting fixed, it's a business dispute, there are lawyers in this country that will represent you on this. And I just want to start walking back and see the ocean. So Bill Marler is a food safety attorney, and he's representing one of the families that died. Now think about this. There are 33 people that died already. Okay, there's 9 more people since the last time. There's been hundreds sick. There's been over 50 people that have been hospitalized because of this. One thing I'm gonna do as I talk about this, I'm gonna run all the meat that have been recalled from this. And this is just gonna scroll by you to give you an idea how bad this is. Now, the problem with this is that around the country, Boris Head's kind of a high-end, there's stores that we advertise Boris Head. I went into my local market last week to get lunch meat, and I get some stuff for Rosie and sandwiches and stuff like that. And the case was just bare, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is because of the Boris Head stuff. My local market took the signs down, so they're not even showing it, And Dawn wrote me and said, how disgusting it was, because she went into her local market where they cut things, and they said, oh, listen, this is not anything to be concerned about. This is the new batch. Would you trust that? Seriously. I think that this company is going to be as bankrupt can be because of how bad this is. Mr. Marler, who's a guy that is no nonsense, who has represented a lot of people with a lot of food issues over the years, is not going to just, say, oh yeah, it was they had an uncleanly situation over a couple of days. This is a pattern with companies like this. So do you get the gist of it, guys? See what's scrolling on your screen right now? That is crazy, guys. Look at everything that's been recalled. And people buy this stuff, but this, again, this is not the cheap stuff. This guy's surf fishing right now, which is kind of cool. But that's the thing, guys. This is not the low-end stuff that, you see. When I was a kid, my brother and I were talking about this last week. My mom, single mom, when she got paid, she'd go to the store and she'd buy the low-end, store brand from Lucky's supermarket called Lady Lee. It was the most gourmet stuff in the world, and we had no idea how broke we were, but we had food, So now when you go to something like Boris Head, you pay a premium for this stuff. So when you pay a premium for this, you expect it to be good. You expect the quality to be better, the meat processing, everything, but it's not. So you have to be careful when you have all this stuff, and look at this stuff, but look at everything that they just showed us. Oh my gosh, that is wild, guys, that all this meat was bad. So they haven't seen anything yet, guys, because what's going to do is what's going to happen is whenever you have a recall like this, it puts a spotlight on that industry. So the spotlight on this industry is going to be more and more people that are going to be scrutinized. So who else is unsafe? And again, I'm not recommending that any other food is bad, but you've got to be safe and you've got to eat this stuff. And one thing that I learned from all my UK subscribers is I don't buy stuff in bulk anymore. Just don't do it. And as we consolidate houses and move and do certain things I'm doing right now, donated a bunch of food that I had stored to the rescue mission and things like that. But for my consumption, the stuff I buy it for that day. And I have things stored for long periods of time. If all hell breaks loose like I think it's going to, I've got a supply of food. Don't worry about me there. I practice what I preach. So anyways, people out having a good time. It's early, it's overcast, it's nice. But the people in the UK taught me that you buy what you eat that day. And the woman I'm dating, it's like, oh, we don't waste any food. Have you noticed that? We eat everything. It's done. Nothing left over. There's no leftovers. And it's a great way to do it because it's just a very efficient. And the problem with it is that you had Boar's Head. Stuff is expensive. It's not inexpensive lunch meat. So people that buy this stuff, they're not going to throw it out. That's the problem, is that you have stuff that could be months old and it could kill you. So be very careful. So I think this company, personally, I don't know how they survived this. I really don't. It's not an isolated incident when they just added 4 more states with problems. So Tennessee, South Carolina, the list is below, guys. But around the country, this stuff is a concern. Now, again, think about this, because you get businesses that are in trouble right now, delis, restaurants. I used to laugh at my late girlfriend because she would walk in and, hey, where is your produce sourced from? Well, you should ask that about their lunch meat now, and cheeses and things like that. So all this stuff they should have accountability. You don't want to sit there and look at the die lots, but I don't think that these guys are going to survive this, personally. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think about this. There's a lot to cover. And everybody just out having a good time, starting their day. Let's talk about our sponsor, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is the legendary actor, Walker, Texas Ranger, so many movies, been around for decades in Hollywood. But one thing that we know about him is that he is in tremendous shape. And one thing that he did that changed his life a decade or so ago was that he went out and learned 3 things that were damaging his health and making it a bigger problem for him to lose weight and stay fit. As we get older, we think that part of having, joint pain and stomach bloatedness is all part of aging. It's not. There's something you can do about it. If you go to chuckdefense.com/Dan, use the link below. Chuck put on a video to show you what he's done and how it can change your life. Check it out today. So many of you have done this, and as we get older, we need an edge. Chuck says it. He's in his 80s, mid-80s, and he says he feels like he did when he was in his 50s. Check out chuckdefense.com/Dan today. Use the link below and see what Chuck Norris did to improve his health. There are so many scams out there that you have to pay attention to. There was a family, the Smith family, 8 of them in the family. Benicia Smith in Georgia went out and rented a house. Thought she got a great deal and met with the owner and gave her a $1,200 deposit. She was living in the house for over a week, and the cops show up and say, hey, you're trespassing. Beat it. Go. And she's like, what are you talking about? I have a lease. Well, you don't have a lease from the owner. So this is becoming a bigger problem all the way around. And I always tell people to investigate everything. And there was something that was sent to me a couple weeks ago I talked to you guys about, and that was the travel blogger that went to Egypt and found out that there was no hotel where he was at. And I was talking to my buddy who owns a cruise company. I'm like, how often does this happen? He goes, Dan, I verify everything. That's why I send you pictures of the hotel. And I never thought about this until he said that, because he does his homework for everybody so that nobody's sitting there flying to Egypt and not getting their room. Now, these poor people are living in their car right now because of this. And that's the problem, is these scams are out there. But use a reputable place. If it's too good to be true, it is, guys, it is. Do what you can do to verify ownership. Check out the neighborhood. And again, oh my gosh, it's $1,200. Let's go get it. So you get it, you pay the money. And I was the victim of a scam that I told you guys about, and I'll remind you of this one. And that was, my son was an athlete when he was in high school, and he graduated, from high school 4 years ago. And, 5 years ago now. Anyways, that, had to live within the zone because they were, pinpointed him and they were being jerks about it. So I found this house, and it was about $500 less than the rest of the neighborhood. And they said, listen, we're having an open house here. Pay for the credit report and we'll let you know who's going to get the house. And as I start doing this, I'm like, God, I have a really bad feeling about this. They took $35 a person. I counted, as I sat in front of the house, 18 people that had come and gone and given them the money and filled out this little slip and gave them their information. And you know what? They didn't run the house. They didn't rent the house to any of those people. They just sat there and made $35 a person. It's got to be cash. Nope. No checks. Cash only. Okay? Sorry you don't qualify, Dan. But the idea with this is you have to look at things like this and justify, where you're going to. Justify everything. Make sure that you can verify, make sure everything's right, make sure it's legit, because it's not. Home selling is a real scam right now. The man that set up the NAR lawsuit, National Association of Realtor lawsuit, that ended up getting a $418 million settlement, the man who started that and was head of the class, went out and started a new business where now you don't have to deal with the buyer's agent. You can pay $49 to do a home tour through him. And in addition to that, if you need to write a deal, it's a little over $100 and you can write a deal. Read the story below on that. What this is going to do is make real estate agents the travel agents of the future, okay? So they're gonna be few and far between, guys. And the people in the real estate business write me and say, you have no idea what I do. You're right about that. None of us do. And my buddy Drayton in Vegas, who's a real estate wholesaler, is the hardest working guy I know in real estate. But that guy has made it so you don't need an agent either. So we've talked about that extensively too. So you're going to see big changes when it comes to real estate. But one thing I tell you, and again, my son, who just got a new apartment, the one thing I'm very proud of is, you don't know if your kids ever listen to you, but the one thing that they did was they backed out of a deal because they didn't like the neighborhood at night. Bravo. Ended up getting a place, very cool, him and a roommate, and it's going to be great. But investigating, checking out the neighbors, introducing themselves to the neighbors. Is this a nice neighborhood? Nice place to live? Is it safe? Do you have any problems? All that stuff that you should do. And again, if Benicia Smith would have gone, they would have sat there and said, I didn't know John was renting that place. We didn't John, we met Helen. So that would have eliminated that problem, guys. So people don't want to do the work. They just want to take a good deal. And right now in this world, the scammers are out there. So be leery and tell your friends as well. I love the numbers that the Fed keeps giving us and our government telling us how, everything's great when it comes to jobs. They're not. It's not good. BioMarin, pharmaceutical company in Northern California, laying off another 57 people in one spot, 59 people in another. You can read the article below. Okay, enough. How about Intel? We heard about their huge layoffs where they're getting rid of 10% to 13% of the company, and it's, you know, thousands of people right now, 1,500 people at least. Well, they just got rid of car leases. They're not going to renew car leases. Yeah, we're going to rethink this. Oh, so no more car packages, no more incentives for people to go out and work for them. When I was sales reps for company, the one thing that was great was my car deal. Hey, I can drive my own car. You guys will pay me $650 a month. Okay, I'll do that. My payments, you know, $290. I don't care. You know what I mean? It was insane. But now you're going to get rid of company cars for Intel. But the economy's great, guys. You know, remember when you buy those computers, Intel inside. Not anymore. Okay. Next thing is a list of 10 restaurants that went bankrupt, and those are down there. Buca de Beppo, Red Lobster, Tortilla Flats, all this garbage, you know. But again, people cannot afford to go eat out. They cannot afford to have a meal that cost, you know, $25 at Denny's. Okay, it's insane, guys. It's absolutely nuts. But it's getting worse and worse and worse. And, you know, federal agency, BLM, Bureau of Land Management, they're going to sell, think about this, 31 million acres of land for solar farms. Okay, we're still doing this? Yeah, I guess we are. So it's kind of funny, all this money that's being spent on all this. So, you know. There is a rumor out in Las Vegas that they're going to build an international airport by state line. And it's about 30 miles, 40 miles outside of the other airport. And what it would be like Orange County and LAX, the equivalency of that. So it'll be interesting, but the land out there by state line all of a sudden has a value to it because people always know things like this before it happens. So let me know what you guys think about all this stuff so far. And again, I love starting my day early at places like this. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm going to finish this video with this last story, but we get warning after warning after warning. It doesn't apply to me, Dan. It applies to those other guys. I'm not eating Boris Head, so why should I worry about this stuff? You got to worry about everything you put in your mouth. You got to worry that they have enough money. You got to worry that you're safe. Okay? So, Michelleifer, the actress, she has a beautiful house in Pacific Palisades that they were trying to sell forever. That was worth $20 million. Couldn't get the $19.9 million that they wanted for it, so they had to lower the price by $5 million in this market. So $14.9 million, 3.3 acres in the Palisades. Goodbye. Okay. The Lloyd's app, banking app in the UK, Stephen sent me this. They're down again today. And Virgin app. And again, guys, what do? Everybody, you got to have a rainy day fund in your house so that you don't have to worry about times like this when things get shut down. When Canada had a problem 2 years ago, I had 3 people write me and thank me profusely, telling me how Dan, you saved us for the weekend because we had no internet, and it was an internet problem that affected Canada from Oklahoma. Okay, who knew? Who knew? Final thing is that carnivore diet where people eat steak, eggs, and doctors are now saying, wait a second, this could cause high cholesterol and blood sugar issues. Oh, okay. So I always like stuff like this, and I get a kick out of it when people try wild things like that. So hit the like button, subscribe, email me at hello@iallegedly.com. Not the Newport Pier right now. So hope you guys are well. And lots coming out this month. Bunch of cool stuff. Onward and upward, guys. Okay, we're living through crazy times together. Don't forget that. See you soon.